Hey everybody, it's Sharmel. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. So today I am back with an update on my lock extensions. So let's get right into it.
The sun shines on all of my glory. My flaws don't look so bad at all. What was I so afraid of?
So this is going to be my second and third month update. I missed my second month mark, and at this point in time I'm closer to month 3, so we're just gonna do them all combined together. So if this is your first time here or you just need a refresh, quick recap. So this is my second set of locks, and this time around I decided to start my locks with Loc Extensions. I did install these myself. My start date is February 1st, and I have a total of 77 locks. I purchased my Loc Extensions from Etsy, and the seller is Eazynappy. I will have all the information about the Loc Extensions down in the description box, as well as the install video and everything else kind of relating to this set. I will have those videos linked down below as well. But yeah, y'all, we are almost at the third month mark, and y'all, one thing I can say is that time is flying by. So I was locked for 3 years, unlocked for 6 months, and now I've already been relocked for 3 months, and it feels like I just did them, and I'm like, wow, it's 3 months already. So I feel like in no time I'm gonna already be at like the 6 month mark, which is one of the things I really love about this second lock journey with the Loc Extensions. I feel like I'm just not really worried about all of the different factors and elements. I can definitely say, compared to my first set of locks, that first year seemed like it took forever. Like in hindsight, the first year went by fast, but in real time I just feel like that first year was so slow compared to this time around. I'm like, man, I'm already at the 3 month mark. So this time around, time is just moving a lot faster, and I think a big part of it is because since I have Loc Extensions, I don't have to think about all the different changes and transitions that my hair is going through. I can just allow them to go through those changes while enjoying like the length and the look of fully matured locks. So yeah, first update, y'all, is that time is flying by. I don't have much notes from month 2 just because I was in the style for the majority of the month. I had that like 2-strand twist bob, so yeah, my hair was kind of put up and out of the way. So if there were any like slight changes in month 2, I really don't know much about them because again, my hair was kind of put up. But as far as month 3 goes, I wouldn't say there's been major changes, but I have been noticing just like a few little things. I am going to take this style down eventually and show you guys my hair. You guys know I always do a texture shot, so I'm gonna let y'all see. So in my 1 month update, I talked a lot about how like this first half of my locks, this is all of my natural hair that is instant locked. I talked about just like how soft and stuff it was, and it's still soft. Okay, it doesn't feel like a mature lock. It's definitely still soft, but I can tell that it's just starting to fill out a little more. I showed you guys like how I could literally just kind of stick my finger through a lot of my locks, and while I can still do that on some of them, like you can see me still doing it, I will say my fingers don't go through as easily. Like I can definitely tell those soft spots are starting to fill out. Again, they're definitely not mature by any means, but they are starting to just kind of fill out a little more, so that's exciting. One of the things that I don't really care for with Loc Extensions is just kind of managing 2 different textures, and so I feel like my Loc Extensions on their own, like I did a good job at finding something that's similar to my natural hair texture. But specifically when I talk about dealing with 2 different textures, I'm talking about dealing with half of your hair that's a mature lock and the other half that's still going through the locking process. And so because like the ends of my hair look mature, a lot of times when I'm styling, I want to handle them like mature locks because they look like mature locks. But because like my roots in the first half of my hair is still going through the locking process, they're still very delicate. I have a lot of frizz, a lot of flyaways, so sometimes like my fingers will get caught or hair will pull from all the different flyaways, and yeah, it's just really delicate. So that's definitely something to kind of be mindful of, to be aware of. Again, I talked about this a lot in my 1 month update. Although you get the look of mature locks, that first half of your hair is still very fragile and delicate, and so yeah, you definitely have to kind of learn how to navigate two different phases that your hair is in. And not just even like the way that it feels, I also notice a difference in how it responds. Like the natural hair part of my locks, it responds a lot different to like the lock extensions. Like I have a curl set in my head now and my ends are still curly, but my roots that are still, again, going through the locking process, my first half of my hair that's still very soft, yeah, the curl set didn't last as long on like this first half of my head compared to the ends that is the lock extensions. So one of the main things that I've had to kind of navigate during this set of locks is just how my natural hair feels compared to the lock extensions, and how my natural hair responds versus how the lock extensions respond. So if you guys remember like my install video, you guys will know that these locks originally had like curly ends, and they still have them technically, but y'all, I've been letting those ends round out. I don't know, like I love the idea of having the curly ends, but because this is not the first time I've experimented with like curly ends on the locks. I love the idea of it, but the maintenance for me and my lifestyle is just not very practical. Since I've had these lock extensions installed, I have detangled them ends. Well, okay, I detangled them originally when I first installed them, and since the first initial install and detangle, I have detangled the ends once, and I feel like that was within the first month, and I have not detangled them ends since. I've been letting them round out. I've actually already trimmed a couple of them. Again, I love the way that they look, but the detangling process is just not very practical. The one time I did do it, it took me like 45 minutes to sit down and detangle every lock. And yeah, it's just something that I don't care to keep up with. So yeah, I'm just allowing the ends to round off, and I'm just going to trim at them. So the next thing I want to talk about is hair color, and I talked about this in one of my previous vlogs. So if you watch my vlogs, you may have kind of already heard this little spiel already. But y'all, I've been having a slight itch for some color, y'all. Hear me out. So with my first set of locks, y'all, I dibbled and dabbled in color the entire lock journey. I started my first set of locks with already colored hair, and yeah, I was just going back and forth from brown to black to red to a ginger to a lighter brown to a piece of blonde to, I was just doing a lot with the colors. So when I combed out my first set of locks, my hair was just like a million different colors. So I went to my stylist and got a professional color correction, and yeah, I've been back to dark hair ever since. And so with this second set of locks, I told myself that I was done with color, because over time, y'all, it just gets a lot to manage, and yeah, I just didn't want to have to deal with that hassle anymore. So that was that. Right now, I got my hair colored in September of last year, and for the most part it's dark, but y'all, it is starting to fade. Y'all definitely can't see in this lighting, but y'all, like my roots are my natural hair color, but towards like this middle section here, you can start to see like some brown tones start to peek back through. It's not the worst. It doesn't look super obvious, but it's definitely something that I've been noticing for like the last couple of months, and I feel like every month it gets a little browner and browner. And so with that being said, y'all, I have been getting the itch for a little color. I think also too because it's springtime, summer is around the corner, and around this time I usually go lighter. So I've been trying to decide what I want to do. What I will say though, I'm having the itch for color, but I am going to honor the promise that I made to myself and not do any chemical processes to my natural locks. So again, this first like 5 or so inches of my locks, I am not going to do any chemical processing to them with color or anything. But since I have lock extensions, and these are human hair lock extensions, I've been considering possibly like maybe doing a couple of highlights. I don't know. I'm still very undecided because I do love the dark hair on me as well. I think that the dark hair looks really good as well. I feel like it makes like my features pop. I don't know. I really don't know, y'all. I keep going back and forth about what I want to do, but I do think I need to either put a rinse over like this first half of my hair just to kind of get it back to a consistent dark color so it doesn't look patchy, or I need to add some highlights to give it a little more dimension. I don't know, y'all. And I'll be honest, I don't really have any like emotional connection to these lock extensions, y'all. It's not my real hair. So I feel like if I do want to do color, now is the time to do it, because I don't plan on keeping these lock extensions forever, so I don't have to necessarily deal with the maintenance of like bleached or color hair a long time, because eventually these will be getting cut off. So yeah, y'all, I don't know. I do plan on retwisting my hair within like the next week or so. So yeah, I've been debating on if I'm going to touch up my dark color or add a couple of highlights. I do have some leftover lock extensions, so I am going to test out bleaching one of the locks first before I like jump head in on doing the ones on my head, just to make sure that the hair responds well and stuff like that. But yeah, y'all, I have been getting the itch for some color, and I kind of touched on this in my previous update, but I will kind of speak on it again just because I have seen some additional questions around it. So a lot of people ask about the removal process or the long-term process. Y'all, these locks are permanent, but I don't plan on keeping them forever. As my hair matures and as it gets longer, like the natural part of my hair, I will be cutting off the lock extensions. When that time comes, more than likely I will definitely do a removal process, but you basically just cut them off, y'all. I did see a couple questions asking like, how do you know where to cut without cutting your real hair, and the process between all of that. So if you are interested in lock extensions, this is a part of the whole process. So a part of your lock extensions looking natural, you have to embed them into your natural hair. So at that line of demarcation where your real hair ends and the lock extension starts, you're gonna have like a section of the hair that's just intertwined with each other. So yeah, most likely you will either have to cut a little bit of your real hair, but one thing with locks, y'all, especially if they're healthy, you should be retaining length like at such a rapid pace. So even if you have to cut a little bit of your real hair, I promise y'all it'll grow back so fast. In my first set of locks, once my hair finally matured, I feel like after that the growth was like crazy. It was just growing and growing and growing. So yeah, you will have to most likely cut a little bit of your real hair, but if you do, y'all, it's really not that big of a deal. Another option would be to keep a little bit of the lock extensions. So if you're worried about cutting your natural hair, yeah, you would just cut below it and just keep any of the lock extensions that's intertwined into your natural lock, just keep it there. Or you can cut below your real hair and then comb out the lock extension. Yeah, you got a few options, but yeah, y'all, if you gotta cut a little bit of your real hair, it's really not that deep. At least for me, it's not. So most likely when I cut mine, if I have to cut some of my real hair, it is what it is. But yeah, y'all, I think that's the only real updates that I have. So I am going to take this style down so you guys can get a texture shot. So I do have an old curl set in, y'all. These are pipe cleaner curls. I do have a separate video on these curls. I've had them in for about 2 weeks now. And see what I was saying, y'all, about how like the way that the bottom of my hair responds compared to like the roots. So like this first half of my hair, a lot of the curls have already dropped, but the ends are definitely still staying curly. But yeah, it's still cute. My last retwist was like the first week of March, so I will be retwisting my hair really soon. But yeah, y'all, this is my hair. Yeah, y'all, this is it. But yeah, y'all, that is going to be it for this second and third month update with my lock extensions. I hope you all enjoyed. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them down below. I will do my best to answer them. But thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on all of my social media platforms. And I will see you beautiful people in my next video. Bye.